Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In previous lecture, we discussed speech act theory, and we discussed the three different speech act. First one first one locationary, second one illocationary, and third one pre-locationary. But in today's lecture, we see what is a felicity condition and how felicity conditions help us while getting the meaning of our speech. But do remember, felicity conditions are very much important if we want to get a successful speech act. The speech act will be successful only if they satisfy several criteria known as felicity conditions. Or it's discussed by Crystal, and he clearly say that for some clear cases the performance will be inappropriate if it is not a specific person in a particular context. If a speaker is not in a specified situation in a particular situation, so we can never ever judge the meaning of that person, because the situation or the position where he is totally different from the talking that he has in her speech, in his speech. Actually, just to try to differentiate the things that we have. I sentence you with 7 months in prison. So it's necessary for me, as I wanted to implement 7 months prison. It's necessary for me to be a judge over there, and it is necessary for me to be in a court. If I am not in a court, I can never ever sentence any type of punishment. Or if I am not a judge, how can I punish a judge? How can I punish a person or any person that I want to be punished? So in a sentence, I sentence you with 7 months in prison. It's necessary. It's two felicity conditions. The first one is it's necessary for me to be a judge, and the second felicity condition is that it's necessary for me to be in a court. If the court is not there, or if I am not a judge, the situation is not appropriate to the meanings that we want to derive from the things that we have. George Yule proposed this concept that I put recently example in front of you people, that George Yule proposed 5 classes for felicity condition that we have. The first one is general condition and the general felicity conditions. The purpose of general felicity condition is just to presuppose the participants' knowledge and understanding to the language being used, and that are not play acting or being nonsensicals. In the first situations, it is necessary for participants to have some notions and to have some understanding, to have some idea related to the things that may be discussed in near future. But in a content condition, the second felicity condition that was described by Mr. George Yule, he discussed that was a content conditions. It's content condition. As we have a word content, you know very well that we are very much aware about the content. Content is the situation, the appropriate situation or the condition where the utterance is being done. So the content condition is concerned with the appropriate content of utterance that must be about a future event. If we want to express any kind of information and my content is not relevant to the situation or relevant to the information that I want to deliver, so it's there isn't any content condition. So the message will not be appropriate, and the message will not be judged, or message will not be comprehended by the people from and to what we are talking about. After that, we have a third type of felicity condition that is considered as preparatory conditions. And at this level, sometimes we have to promise, we have to warn, and we have to prepare ourselves just to get the meaning of that aspects that are being discussed. For example, for a promise are significantly different from those for warning. So preparatory conditions may help us to understand the meanings. As we know very well about promise, is something different from the concept of warning. If we promise, it means we are going to give something in return of the things that we have. But if we are doing warning means we are threatening the peoples. There is a two different conditions. First one is promise and the second one is warning. So promise, when we say promise, it's mean we are putting implementation. We are promising the things to the listener, to the hearer, to the reader, that we want to express, we want to give. We have something that we want to give you people, and I am promising, and we are promising over that. Or if we are warning again, if we are warning here, or we can clearly guess that if we are warning, or if someone is warning to us, it means he is threatening us. It might be possible that he will harm us, or he will may cause any danger toward our life. So while promising is a positive attitude, and we are preparatory when we prepare ourselves just in order to get the positive information. If he says warning, it's mean we try to cover, we try to comprehend, and we try to sort out the situation that is that cause to the warning. So when promising to do something, there are two preparatory conditions. First one, the event will not happen by itself. The second, the event will have a beneficial effect. So promising mean that the first situation, while we promising the things, that is the things that is expected by the speaker is not or was not done, and he was promising that he will do. He will do, he will give you benefit, he will give you the things that he wanted to that you wanted to from them. So if he is warning, so definitely we see that there is a threat in our life. After that, we have the fourth Felicity Conditions, Sincerity Conditions. Sincerity Conditions, it's totally related to the sincerity, the intention, and the concept, and the clear-cut idea of a speaker and the thought of speakers. We count with the speaker's intention to carry out certain acts. If the intention of a speaker is not good for us, we can comprehend the situation, and we can clearly express our idea that the intention of speaker is not good to you people. Try to avoid the things, and we may put a suggestion over there, or we may guide the people that the intention of that person is not good for you people. So it's a sincerity condition, the condition where we find ourselves that the speaker is sincere or not. If he is sincere to the situation, he is sincere to the talk that he is speaking, or he is speaking toward the people, then we consider some security over there. Or if we find that the intention of the speaker is not good, it's mean we find that there is no sincerity condition in the speech that he has. So the speech act must be performed in a sincere manner. Example, if you are apologizing and grunting and wow, so you clearly express the idea that you want to put over there. In the rest of condition that we have, the example I want to put example for a sincerity condition. Or if I am implementing you a promise, or implementing you just a concept, just like that. I want to give you some related materials, but I say that in a notion. I say that in having a bad intention. The students assume that sir is giving to us a material, but the things is not good because we do not and we did not perform the task assigned by a teacher, and he is doing this things on the behalf of us, so that the intention of sir is maybe, or might be, or would be lost the marks of the situation that is created by the things. So it's one example. So I feel some grudges just because the students did not perform their task, and I promised them to give some materials related to that task, and my intention is not good. not good. I am doing that, I am putting or giving that material just in order to make revenge, or just in order to put the things that we have. But do remember, if you are doing these things, we cannot, or we are not sincere to the things that we have. After that, we have the fifth felicity condition, that is essential conditions. They combine with the specification of what must be in the utterance content, the context, and the speaker's intention in order for a specific speech X to be appropriately. It is necessary for the speech to be implemented there, or it's necessary, sometimes it is necessary for a speaker to have the intention and the content and the context, or the things that he wanted to implement correlated with the things. So essential condition is a condition where all the things are mandatory, just like content and the context, the material of the things that you want to implement and the situation of the things that you want to implement over there. They both must be associated with them. They both must be correlated to each others. If the intention of the speakers is not correlated to the content, or not correlated to the context, so that it's missing the essential condition in the speech activity. So it's necessary for a speaker, if he wanted to implement the essential conditions over there. So it's necessary for a speaker to clear cut his intentions, to show his content, and so show his context of the situation where he is. Context, content, and intentions are very much important in essential conditions. Essential condition of felicities, or felicity is an essential condition entitled with context, content, or intentions of speakers. So these things must be correlated or coexisted with each others, with one another. If they are not coexisted, so there might be possible that there is a less information, or that there is a less felicity condition of the essential condition in speech activity. So in direct or indirect speech, we have if in speech activity we have two different type of speeches, that direct or indirect. First, you know very well about direct speech is a speech where we copy the text of a person, or we as it is narrated that statement, or if we want to change, or if we make some little changes in that statement, then we are doing the indirect speech. Direct speech is a speech where we have to copy the real or original text, and in indirect speech we change that original text into our own text. So it's necessary or it's mandatory to differentiate between these things, but how these direct or indirect speech help us in understanding the situations. Most of the speeches are directly quoted by the speakers, but sometimes we utilize indirect speech just in order to understand the situation, or just in order to understand the context that we have. On the basis of structures, we have different approaches to distinguish kinds of speech acts. We can clearly divide it into these three basic types. The first one declarative, and second one interrogative, and fourth one imperative. And but if we talk about with reference to communicative functions, we have a stative function and question and command or request. But if for example you have a nice car, it's a declarative sentence. Or do you have a nice car, it's an interrogative sentence. Get a nice car, it's an imperative sentence. But do remember, while putting any type of speech, or any type of structure of the statements that we have, it's necessary for you to recognize the situation and try to use that structure according to that statement that you want to put. If the situation or the structure of the speech that you want to implement are not coexisted, are not co-associated, then it might be, or it would be result in a negative statement. It would result in different that you want to accept, or that you want to get. But mostly the speeches are directly addressed to the listeners, but most of the acts in everyday conversation are indirect. But sometimes we utilize the indirect speech just in order to say the things, just in order to express the idea that we have. So A direct speech is a speech where we copy the text, where we copy the statement of a speaker and we implement as it is their statement. Or indirect speech is a speech that we mold, we try to change, and we shuffle the statement of that person to the situation that we want to express. So again, direct speech is a speech. Just see, I am explaining this thing with an example. If I say Maz to bring a marker from coordinator, and Maz goes to coordinator, and he asks, the Sir Farman is demanding a marker, and Sir Farman asking for a marker, and coordinator Mr. Aves says that he has no marker, but he says that I have no marker. Mas comes back to the class and say that Sir Aves is saying I have no marker. I have no marker. This was the statement that is occurred by Mr. Aves, but Mas copied that statement and expressed as it is described by Mr. Aves. It's a direct statement or direct speech. If Mas change that I have a marker into that Sir Mas comes to the class and says that Sir Aves was saying that he had no marker or he has no marker. If he convert I into he and he change the text of the speaker, then he is indirecting the speech. So direct and indirect, but mostly we try to say the things directly, but sometimes we use indirect speech, but mostly in writing, but we use indirect speech. We do not use direct speech while speaking. But in speech act theory, it's necessary for you to express the clear-cut idea that you want to implement. Either you want to make a statement, or you want to make a question, or you want to show any kind of imperative sentence. As we know, imperative sentence can be further divided into command, request, suggestion, and piece of advice. Which type of sentence that you want to implement, it's necessary to express that type of statement. But do remember, it's necessary for you to relate the statement according to the situation, according to the physical condition, according to the situation that you have. So if you do not relate your situation according to the situation, if you do not relate your statement according to the situation, then might be possible, or it would be result in a different, or it would be result differently that you suppose, that you hope. So do clear yourself while utilizing or while implementing any type of speech. Imperative sentence, you know very well about. Sometimes we may confuse ourselves. Sometimes we becomes puzzle while utilizing the imperative sentence. It's very complicated situation, or it's very difficult to utilize imperative sentence accordingly that we should do. Sometimes we try to convert the statements, and sometimes we do not try to convert the statements. It means that sometimes we put suggestion while we want to make an advice, or while we want to give a piece of advice, we put their suggestion. Or sometimes where we have to make a command, we just request. If you want to make a request, to see the situation. If you want to make a command, see the command, see the situation. If you want to advise, see the situation. If you want to suggest, see the situations. It's an imperative sentence. Situation is very much important for people, or situation is very, very, very much important for a speaker to describe the thing that he has. So in today's lecture, we discussed the Felicity Conditions. We have learned about the 5 different Felicity Conditions that are very much important, or that are very much necessary for speech act theory. Speech act theory it is necessary for a speech act theory to associate the speech with the felicity condition. If the speech act theory is not associated or with the felicity condition, it might be possible that we are not, or we will not in a position to express our clarity, express our accuracy, express the situation that we want to express. So that's all for today. If you have any kind of question, you can ask. Thank you. Take care. Allah Hafiz.